Hey guys, unfortunately I have to start this episode on sort of a somber note. At this spot on February 4th, the brave team battling the wilderness lost its leader. Avondale II was struck down by a surprise creeper strike in the dead of night. This tree is in memoriam of his bravery and the sacrifice of the whole team. In loving memory of Avondale II, September of 15 to February of 16. He did what he loved, so he never worked a day in his life. That's how my dad died. He was working on the survival assault course, and he got struck down by a creeper. I managed to salvage most of his gear from the people who were working with him at the time, and one of the weirdest things I found was that, according to them, his chest plate was not among the things that were found. That leads me to believe that might have been some of the reason why he died. I haven't had a chance to make a new one yet, though, because I'm picking up right where he left off in his footsteps. I've been working on the assault course, and there have been a lot of changes since the last time my dad showed it to you guys. I wanted to take a look at them. First of all, we moved to the starting line. It's not under the bridge up there anymore. It's now down here, and if we have a run around here and take a look, I'm coming down the finish right now, which isn't quite done yet. You'll see here that the starting line is now big enough to hold a lot more people. And the way that we're doing these is we're taking a page out of the Book of Game Show. We're doing the pod launchers. So the contestants will get down in these here, and when it's time to go, they'll get launched up and onto the course, ready to start. So I'll just run a little bit of this part of the course and show you what's changed. We took a lot of inspiration from Antlia's assault course, which is right in the front yard of the Noxcrew Gameshow factory, and we added our own flair to a lot of those as well. So that's the new start. This is where you get onto the actual course, and this part of the course is lappable. So the picture panic jumpy glass panes there that we had at the end at the beginning that we had at the end of the lap originally will be the track for the lap. So you'll still run down here like normal, and I still can't do this successfully. Let me just take you over to the new part. This part right here is pretty much the same as it was before. It's just gotten some decoration and some lighting. We'll cheat and head up the hill. This part isn't quite finished yet. Anyways, you've completed the hard jumpy bit, and I think my dad mentioned last time that you went into the cave. This area right here is how you get down there, so we're going to go ahead and just jump into the water and wash down. And you'll see here, this was all originally stone, and we've since chiseled out this gigantic cavern and made it work. So what's going to happen, some of this is finished and some of it isn't. You're going to come around here, you'll go up into that minecart there, then you'll run across in this direction, you'll come across this bridge here. And a lot of this part of the course is meant to be a little bit more relaxed, because there are some harder parts. This jump right here is only makeable if you go through the vines, and if you fall down you have to go back up around and try it again. Now this part here, I have set some blocks up differently because we're in testing still, but the left path is the thing called the Pro Loop. The Pro Loop isn't finished yet, so I don't want to show it off quite yet, but basically what the Pro Loop does is it is toggleable, so these will either be open or shut, and I actually have a lever over here to do that. And if Pro Loop is on, you will go around a longer path to get over there. So this right here means Pro Loop is off, so you would come this way instead and directly around. We'll talk some more about Pro Loop in the future when it opens up. This next part here is really challenging, and it might be a little bit too challenging for me, we'll see, but this is the sucker punch wall. So there's two different ways you can do this. You can either time those pistons, or you can try this set of jumps over here, which are pretty challenging. We'll see if I can get them. This last one's a hard one, because you have to squeeze yourself in between those two half slabs there to try to get yourself through. It's pretty challenging. Maybe I'll try it one more time. And I failed. This is the type of obstacle that can really separate the pros from the Joes, as you can see there. Anyways, let me go ahead and get back out of this, and I'll meet you at the next obstacle. Alright, so this next obstacle is a new one. It's called the chandeliers, and I called it that because these things all hang from the ceiling. They're not really meant to be that challenging. They're more of a speed obstacle to test how quickly you can get through there. So if we take a look here at Dwitty's treetop part, I have worked on cleaning this up a little bit today, and you can see here there's a little bit less penalty if you fall. It doesn't hurt as much anymore. So anyways, there's been some really good progress on this. We've had a lot of different people working on it, and we will be ready very soon to open up to the public. When we do open up to the public, we're going to hold a gigantic race and get a bunch of different people on, and we'll have a pretty big prize as well. And the nice thing is that prize is going to be sponsored by Zoidmart, which will be pretty cool. Anyways, I wanted to head back into town because I had some other things that I wanted to work on today. First of all, I have been looking to hire somebody to do some work for Zoid Park. I still haven't decided if we're keeping the name Lobsterland or not, but I think Zoid Park might take over. I'm calling it Zoid Park as the code name until we decide for sure what we want to call it. Anyways, I posted an ad over here on the billboards for a builder. It says, talented builder needed for park entrance, inquire at ZM. And I actually just got a notification on my iPhone that somebody was waiting for me at Zoidmart, so I wanted to come over here and take a look. We might have to smoke this budding fan out here, peeking in through the windows. Anyways, oh yeah, it looks like we do have somebody here waiting for us. Hello. I heard you were interested in the builder position. I think I'll stay in front of the counter to talk here. I think it's a little bit more polite than disappearing behind my counter. I want to keep this a little bit more informal. She looks excited. Really interesting looking as well, isn't she? Anyways, let's see what she has to say. She's seen my poster, and here she is. Let's see. I say fantastic too much. Great. Let's see. So, let me tell you a little bit about the job. Myself and an associate are opening something we're code naming Zoid Park. Basically, it's an amusement park with different rides and games for people to experience. We want to have a grand, iconic entrance so that people know exactly what it is from far away. I hear you have some pretty in-depth building experience. I can't type. And I was looking for someone who had a great idea on how to capture the park. Still interested? I think I know the perfect design. Great. Can you show it to me? Sure. Alright, let's go find a spot and we'll get you to work. So we're going to head off and find a spot for Skyo to build her mock-up, and we'll see if she's good enough to get the job. Looks like she's done, though. Hi. Hello. Have you finished? I did. Great. How about you tell me a little about it? Well, I pulled inspiration from nature. Interesting. The greatest of muses, as you know. This part may be considered a bit, unconventional. Yeah, I'll say. But for me, nudity is nothing to be afraid of. I guess that's technically nudity. So how will this function as an entrance? Will you just walk right through? Yes. Well, that's interesting. So I'm assuming it'll be a bit bigger then. This building is only 1 to 3 of the original scale. So it'll be 3 times bigger. Gotcha. Gotcha? Gotcha. Stumbling over my words today. Anyways, it looks fantastic. I'm very excited to see the full build. You've got the job if you'd like it. We just need to negotiate a price. However, before we do that, I had a question for you. 25 diamonds? It's that easy? Anyways, I figured we should draw up a contract. So I wanted to invite you to my home office so we can get that taken care of. Do I know a lawyer? I had an ancestor that was a lawyer once. I heard he was pretty amazing at it. But I think we can take care of this the old-fashioned way. Follow me to my house. Sounds good. Ha! Well, I'll tell you, that shipment of chorus fruit that you got definitely doesn't look as good as the one I sent to me, Wolf. Anyways, let's be off. Okay, we've made it. So I wanted to invite you here because I heard you were the owner of some property in the Nether. I believe there are storefronts available for sale. The only owner of properties in the Nether too, that's interesting. I wanted to inquire about purchasing a storefront from you so I can expand my business and make it a little more easily accessible. What are your going rates for those storefronts? Considering the inflation that's been happening lately, I'm not quite sure I want to risk taking real currency. What would you prefer? I would say 5 crates of this delicious fruit would do. Chocolate-covered cherries. Well, Zoid Mart isn't technically a food producing company, but I think I could wrangle you up some of these delicious cherries. When you say crates, how much is a crate? Well, I usually find them 64 in a crate. That sounds good. I would definitely purchase the store off you for that price. It will take me a few minutes to draw up yours and my contract, and then I will need to approve your selection as a builder with my associate, Gregan. I am sure he will not have an issue with the selection, build, or price, but it's the semantics of doing business, you know. That being said, once the paperwork clears, I will be in touch and you can get started on the full-scale build ASAP. Thanks again for offering your service, and I'll be in touch shortly with details and a crate of those delicious snacks. Okay, so Skyo and I clearly have some business to be done, but we got a majority of the negotiations out of the way today. I'm going to go ahead and draw these contracts up, and I'm going to get started. Nice doing business with you as well. And she's gone. There she goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start drawing some of these contracts up here. I have a couple books for that. I'm going to go ahead and get Gregan to approve them as well. And then I'm actually going to head over to the Rico Resort, over to Zoid Park, and we're going to do a project that you'll see once you go through the entrance of the park. So I'll meet you there. We've made it over to Zoid Park. That is the Rico Resort main island over there, and this is where Skyo is going to be building the lobster entrance for us. And after you come through that entrance there's going to be a little area with maybe a concession stand or maybe a bathroom, something. Don't really know yet. This shack will come down. It's just a temporary work cut. There's going to be a path that goes along this way because we're going to have one of our attractions right in this little bay here. And then the main path is going to split off to the right and go up these stairs. Once we get to the top of these stairs here, this is really where we want the main feel for the park. We're going to have the tower for Deakudra up there, which we've already started building. There's going to be a nice water feature here with this stairwell that I worked on, and I still have some decorating to do around the edges. We just have the initial shape done here, which is a nice oval curved stairs, and there'll be a waterfall in the middle here. But when you walk through this part here, you're actually going to have how do I want to put this? When you walk into an amusement park, we definitely want you to have music playing to let you know that you're there, keep the spirit upbeat, right? And I don't really want the same song to be playing over and over again. I want to make a randomized music machine. Now, randomized music machines are nothing new. People do them all the time, but I want to take my randomized music machine and not only make it play random music, but give it a backing line to go behind it. So we're going to do a drum beat and a bass line to give it some cadence so that it sort of repeats over and over again. Sounds like music. So I'll just show you real quick how, probably don't need the bread, probably don't need those pistons either. Let's just show you real quick how this actually is going to work. Take this up here and I'll set up one of these randomly. So you can make a pretty good randomizer by using a dropper hopper combo like this, and I should probably grab some blocks as well. There we go, stone bricks. So using the dropper hopper combo to spit it in, you can pull out of there with a comparator, right? And then run some redstone dust along these blocks. And what we'll do here is we will put in, what do we want to put in? Do an axe, we'll do a chicken, we'll do a redstone torch, and a regular torch. Okay, and for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to do this, and did I bring levers? I bet you I brought levers. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we'll do levers as well. So now what this is going to do here, if I flick this lever, you'll see one of these dusts came on. That's because it put a chicken up there. If I flick it again, you'll see there's only one up. That means it's one of the items. Eventually we'll get 3 dusts, so when you get 3 dusts, that means that these items that stack to 64 are down in the dropper, and the axe, or whatever I end up putting in there, that can't stack to 64, or even stack at all, has come to the top. So what that means is if I put a note block on the end of here, right, and we do this, oops, don't want that one there, hang on a sec. Oh, and my axe is gone. Break these with your hand? Good to know. Now when I trigger this over and over, if the axe goes in there, maybe. Really? What are the chances? There it goes. So you see when the axe finally went in, that's what triggered the note block over here. So this is going to be the basis of this whole system, and that's what I've set up down below here. I'm going to have this whole line be a line of those randomizers, and then I'm going to perpetuate the signal up into these dirt blocks here, and then the note blocks will sit on top and they'll be piano. Let me set that up real quick, and I'll also set up some of the logic for the bass line and the drum beat, and then we'll see what I've done. Well, that should be it right there. I set up the note blocks up here. Now these are piano note blocks, and starting from this one right here, I've just set them up to be as C major scale, and then I've added on the next couple of notes in either direction onto the, and I actually did something kind of interesting. All of the notes in the main range of the scale here are weighted the same way, and the 2 on either end that are outside of the scale are actually weighted less. And by doing that, it makes it I basically didn't want it to use the notes outside of the main range of the scale anymore. Let's go down in here and we'll take a look at the redstone. This is how I got it to go up through, and actually the delay works pretty perfectly with the way that this all starts. Then over here is the actual baseline for this, and I got rid of my lever. Let's make a button here real quick and we'll show off what just the baseline sounds like. This is the baseline and drums. It's really simple. I didn't want anything too elaborate because I don't know if the wiring can handle it. But when you turn it on together, this is a rapid pulsar here that fires all of these randomizers randomly. Now let's see how it sounds. It's weird how often it plays more than one note at once. It's also weird how often the clock gets out of sync with the timer, but I'm sure that's just due to shenanigans. Anyways, I'm going to sit here and listen to the rest of this music, but I appreciate you tuning in, having a listen. In the next episode, we're going to see if we can get Skyo to start working on the entrance over there. Then we have a couple new projects in town as well. I'll see you then. I've been Avondale, thanks for watching. In loving memory of Avondale II, September of 15 to February of 16. He did what he loved, so he never worked a day in his life. That's how my dad died. He was working on the survival assault course, and he got struck down by a creeper. I managed to salvage most of his gear from the people who were working with him at the time. And one of the weirdest things I found was that, according to them, down here and take a look, I'm coming down the finish right now, which isn't quite done yet. You'll see here that the starting line is now big enough to hold a lot more people. And the way that we're doing these is we're taking a page out of the Book of Game Show. We're doing the pod launchers. So the contestants will get down in these here, and when it's time to go, they'll get launched up and onto the course, ready to start. So I'll just run a little bit of this part of the course and show you what's changed. We took a lot of... Hey guys. Unfortunately, I have to start this episode on sort of a somber note. At this spot on February 4th, the brave team battling the wilderness lost its leader. Avondale II was struck down by a surprise creeper strike in the dead of night. This tree is in memoriam of his bravery and the sacrifice of the whole team. His chest plate was not among the things that were found. That leads me to believe that might have been some of the reason why he died. I haven't had a chance to make a new one yet, though, because I'm picking up right where he left off in his footsteps. I've been working on the assault course, and there have been a lot of changes since the last time my dad showed it to you guys. I wanted to take a look at them. First of all, we moved to the starting line. It's not under the bridge up there anymore. It's now down here, and if we have a run around... a lot of inspiration from Aunt Lia's assault course, which is right in the front yard of the Noxcrew Gameshow factory, and we added our own flair to a lot of those as well. So that's the new start. This is where you get onto the actual course, and this part of the course is lappable. So the picture panic jumpy glass panes there that we had at the end at the beginning that we had at the end of the lap originally will be the track